time Meet Clifton
with your host, Ray Grabowski.
Here's Ray.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Meet Clifton. As you know, we've been off the air for a while. This is our second show since we've been here. George, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it, and it's good to be back on and meeting the people.
And even being out here outside in the yard, it's great.
Right, even outside, it's great.
Yes.
And Meet Clifton was started so we can meet, entertain, educate the town. So keeping with that, every now and then we find some people that have graduated Clifton High School and gone on to unique lives. So tonight we have two of those people, and we're going to get to them in just a minute. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Tonight's guest star, former U.S. Navy Chief Warrant Officer Bill Hartman, Marine Sergeants Sean Yearwood and Sergeant Mark Kamp, and Vice President and Alumni Media Relations of the Mets, Jay Horwitz. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Meet Clifton.
Okay, welcome back. My first guest is actually a Clifton High School graduate from 1977, so if any of you are watching, you may recognize him, Mr. Bill Hartman. Bill, thanks for coming on the show. This is a little different for us because, we're doing the social distancing thing, which is required, but it's also we want to do this. So we're keeping our safe distance, which is good, but we'll work through it. Bill's title is he's a former Chief Warrant Officer of the U.S. Navy. But Bill, I don't know what a warrant officer is, so.
A warrant officer is, and actually in all the branches except the Air Force. In the Navy specifically, it's the only time you can apply for a warrant officer program is senior enlisted, which is E7, 8, and 9. And it's pretty tough. When I retired, there was only 2,000 warrants in the Navy. So, yeah, I applied for it. There was over 260 people that applied. They picked 12, and I was number 6.
Wow, that's great. Obviously, you're from Clifton.
Yes, sir.
So you graduated Clifton, and what was your purpose for enlisting in Navy? Because
Right, that's a great question. When I grew up here, it was a tough community. It was a great community. Everybody got along. All the friends that I graduated with all went on either to college. We were all made great careers for ourselves. And my dad was military. My dad actually was a Marine.
Oh, nice.
So I had that military mindset bred into me from probably birth. So, then actually I went down to Passaic to the post office. I signed up for the Marine Corps. And Marine Corps recruiter was out at lunch. So the Navy guy said, "Hey, why don't you come on in and have a seat?" And I said, "Okay." So he popped the movie in, and next thing I know, it's all history.
They stole you.
Yeah, yeah. And I was down there signing the last contract on it. Was been Paris Island bound.
Oh, how many years were you in the Navy?
32.
So career man.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what it's called. I think it's
Yes,
called
sir.
career.
32 years.
Wow, it's a long time.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know anything about the Navy per se, but so when you enlisted, you have to take a path or a career path. What did you choose?
I chose telecommunications, and it was very interesting because obviously anything as far as wartime, the first thing they're going to take out is your communications. Right. I did my enlisted time all on ships, so I did shipboard telecommunications, and then when I got commissioned, I was in Guam. I worked at the area master station, and we supported the the Med and the Pacific communications, and that's for all the shipboard carriers, right, submarines, all out in the Pacific and Med. And then after that, I was selected to go with the SEALs as a communications guy. I worked at their headquarters for a while, and then I got selected to go take over as the officer in charge of their communications team on the West Coast. And
so you just mentioned the SEALs. A lot of people don't know exactly what that is. Could you just give us like a definition of that?
SEALs is sea, earth, air, and land.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that.
What a great time. I mean, they're some of the best guys you'll ever want to deal with. They're tough. And their attitude is, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. So when you show up to work for them, you do what they do.
Right.
And you know, I had a tough job. First words out of the admiral's mouth when I checked in was, you know, you're in communications. And, you know, I have teams out there that need to communicate, and they better communicate. So I pretty much got my warning to say, you better do a stellar job. And then I was, when I left headquarters, I was awarded the Navy Frogman Award, Honorary Frogman, which is an honorary SEAL. And when I got the award, there was 49 awards given since Vietnam, and mine was the 49th award.
Nice.
So I had a great career with them. I loved it. I mean, we worked out all the time, but it was rewarding. It was very rewarding.
I didn't know that was an acronym for Sea, Earth, Air, and Land.
Yes, sir.
I think most people assume that the Navy SEALs are strictly divers.
No, they do pretty much everything.
So they move through the whole gambit, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, 32 years, you had, I don't know if they're called tours.
Yeah, I had, in about 32 years, I probably had about maybe 20, 25 tours total. I've been pretty much all over the world. I could probably count on one hand on how many countries I haven't been to. And it was rewarding. I mean, you know, the military teaches you a lot. And, you know, I want the kids out there to understand that, you know, you put your mind to something, you can do anything you want. And there's only one person that convinces you that you can't do it, and that's yourself.
Right.
And if you really want something, then you push forward and get it. And, you know, the negativity and I can't, or once you say you can't, you pretty much ended it. So just keep a positive attitude.
And we spoke about that positive attitude, and I think people don't realize the body can really push through more than you.
Yes, sir. And that's great info there, because, you know, your mind, if you're just sitting home doing nothing, you know, that's how you, but if you're out there and you're being tested, both strength, mentally and physically, and that's one thing when I was with the SEALs, it taught me a lot, is the mental part of it. Right. You know, how to stay strong and positive. You know, when you're going out there, there's nothing negative about it. You got to stay positive, and you definitely have to stay strong. So.
Right. Yeah, I think it's probably easier to give up than to persevere.
It is. It's very easy to give up, but you know what? There is no second place.
Right.
You know, it's either your first place or nothing.
Let me ask you something. When you were in the Navy, your dad was still alive, right?
Yes, sir.
Was he surprised in your choice?
He was shocked. Let's put it that way. He did give me a lot of grief, but it was all in fun. You know, I respect the Marines wholeheartedly. Right. I've worked with them before. They're a great bunch of guys, and they're, you know, we're all in this together.
Right, exactly.
So
everyone has their purpose, you know.
Yes, sir.
Any armed service, you know, whether it's the Army, Navy, Marines.
It doesn't matter. We're all getting paid
it's
by
all
the same
necessary,
guy.
right? And everyone has their functions. I just want to ask you, out of all the places you've been, all the countries, what did you find the most interesting? Because I know there's a lot, but there had to be one where you said, Jesus.
Right, that's such a great question, because the one that I felt that was the Middle East. Middle East was tough. Not only was it hot, and they say it's a dry heat. Well, I don't care, 120 degrees is 120 degrees. And it's a unique place. So I felt that the Middle East was pretty much the most unique and toughest places I've ever been. Asia has a different mindset on things. I think the closest country that I've been to that equals the U.S. is Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But, you know, I just believe that the military really teaches you how to appreciate what you have in this country, especially traveling all over the world and seeing how other places live. I mean, there's nothing more exciting than the USA.
No, it's the best country in the world.
And you know, in this town, every time I come by here, I always get choked up because it's such a great town.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. Look at this. I've never seen this before. Something like this.
Yeah, we're trying. I mean, we all believe that Clifton's great. You know, it's a great town. And you know, I have to ask you, like, you know, someone who's watching, and you talk about the Navy, and sometimes you're on a ship for a long time. How do you get through something like that?
Well, first of all, cleanliness is number one.
Yeah, because you're close quarters.
Close quarters, and most of the time we're either working or sleeping, because usually most guys are on 12 on, 12 off.
Right.
You know, it's been a long time since I've been on a ship, and I'm sure that a lot has changed since I was on. But you know what? The camaraderie and the closeness that you get to people and friendships, that's what helps. And you know, that was one thing about Clifton that always reminded me of the military is the closeness and the camaraderie that we have shared throughout the guys that I went to high school with, and the girls. Right. You know, we still get together, we still have reunions. I mean, it's just such a unity. And even today, you know, we just had our 40th reunion. We still go to parties. We still, you know, I fly out once in a while, and we all get together, have dinner. It's just, and what's really great about it is we never left. I mean, it was like we just were in high school.
Yeah, you picked up where you kind of left
Exactly.
off.
There's no, you know, oh my God, I don't know how this guy's going to be. I haven't seen him in 20 years. But no, it's everything. And that's
nice.
The military too.
Yeah, it's nice to know you kind of have an extended family.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
if you're ever in trouble, you almost feel like you could depend on somebody.
Oh, there's
and
no
I'm
doubt.
sure that's like that in the military too.
Oh, it is. It's no doubt. And you know, even the other branches, they give each other grief. But you know, when it comes down to it, we're all in this together. And you know, it's if I walked in, I saw a Marine or Army guy in trouble, yeah, it would definitely help him. Absolutely. I mean, that's the brotherhood of it.
And I guess probably one of the last things is, and this is most important, I like to ask everyone, you served 32 years. You had to come away learning something special.
Oh my God. So one of the things I learned is treat people fair. You know, when you get into the leadership role, the number one thing is take care of your people. Right. Because your people are going to take care of you if you do. So I learned a lot about leadership. And as a matter of fact, at a young rank, I was basically thrown into it. And you know, you never get that experience when you're 30, 20, late 20s, early 30s,
Right.
where you're in charge of something.
Right, yeah, sure.
And you know, this is your tax-paying dollars that we're using equipment for. And we're talking millions of dollars worth of comm gear you're dealing with, and you're in charge of it. And you know, for a 25, 30-year-old, that's a lot of responsibility.
Sure, that's young. It's young.
Most importantly, I learned that there's not a country in the world that even comes close to the USA. I mean, like I said, I've been all over the world, and this place is it. And especially the city, it just gets me to where, you know, they're doing the flags, they're doing this. I mean, this place has not changed. I mean, the arrangement changed. Right. But as far as what the city of Clifton does, that has not changed a bit. Yeah. So I learned a lot. I mean, you know, and you're thrown into different positions, and you got to step up to the plate and do it.
No, we appreciate that.
And you know, it was a great tour. I'm glad I did it. You know, I had a lot of negative things that happened to me, but you know what? That's fine. You can fail in life. What's important is how you rebound from it.
Right, absolutely.
And you know, you're going to fail regardless of what you do, but bounce back, wipe yourself off, and continue on.
Yes, good
advice.
advice.
And that's one of the things the military teaches me. When I was with the SEALs, it was a lot of mind games. You know, they taught me how to, you know, keep that positive attitude no matter what. So, you know, it was a great career. And most importantly, what a great town to be back at. Right. So,
Bill, I thank you for sharing that with us, and of course, you know, thank you for your service. And if you want any closing remarks, please.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Ray, and for your folks, for your hospitality. I mean, this is just, it's amazing. And And again, I've been all over the United States also, and I've never saw this anywhere. And you know, the flags on different holidays, it's just, it's touching.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's nice to hear that, because you know, we always keep trying to say how great Clifton is.
Oh, it is. It's
and
a great
you're
town.
a man who's been away for a while in the service and coming back saying these nice things about Clifton. So thank you very much.
Thank
we
you,
appreciate
sir.
it. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you, sir.
Stay
Appreciate
tuned.
it.
We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Actually, we're fortunate enough to have some more military men with us. I'd like to introduce Sergeant Sean Yearwood and Sergeant Mark Kamp. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
I guess I'm showing my age here, but you're both sergeants, so you don't look that old. So, you know, let me start with Sean. You know, you're how long you been in the military?
I've been in for 6.5 years now.
6.5 years. Okay, and how long you been in?
About 8 years.
Oh, really? Whoa.
So,
Look young to me. I don't know. It's one of those things. So, obviously, you have specialties. So we'll start with Sean. What's your specialty in the service?
So my actual military occupational specialty is I'm an avionics technician. I fix electronics for aircraft.
Oh, okay. And Mark?
I'm a 0341 waterman by trade, which is essentially within the realm of infantry. So my job is to go respond, be 100% first to fight there.
Okay, so this is a question that you probably get all the time. Why did you join the Marines? So
I actually did go to college right out of high school. I made it all the way through towards my senior year, and at that point I started realizing this wasn't something that I was doing for me. So by the time I got to my senior year, I was already talking to a Marine recruiter, because that was my initial plan out of high school. So that's pretty much one of the happenings. I managed to graduate still,
Right.
but I decided to go enlist in Marines.
okay.
As I spoke with you earlier, originally from Kazakhstan, right below Russia. So, you know, adopted at the age of 8, brought over to Oregon, raised out there. So when I came to America, having so many different opportunities to do, you know, vast range of things, there's so much more than in Russia. You know, and I really want to give back and give that service, you know, to my country.
Sure, and we're going to talk about the opportunities, you know, for people to enlist, because I think it's important that we try to educate the younger people so that they see what the opportunities are. But first, I just want to know you've both been in at least 6-7 years. So, have you been stationed anywhere other than the United States?
I have not been stationed. The only place I was stationed is North Carolina, Cherry Point. Outside of that, you know, went on training exercises to Norway.
Right.
Haven't been stationed.
So your specialty keeps you in the United States?
Yes.
Okay, which would make sense.
My specialty keeps me outside the United States. Being infantry, I've been on 3 combat tours: Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, Jordan. Had a vast, you know, chances to travel, experience different places. So it's been very fun.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty good for 8 years you've been in service. That's great. That's great. I just want to ask this question because, you know, everything, or the environment in the United States, right, or actually all over the world with the COVID thing. How did that affect the Marines in any way? You know, I don't know how, but you know, maybe you could take a little bit and then you could finish.
I'll start.
Okay, fine.
Essentially, the way this kind of affected us, of course, is adhering to, you know, the guidelines, 6 feet distancing, going way more virtual. So working from home was a big thing for us during this pandemic at the start of. And then when a person decided this is something they want to do, they would, you know, go to a 14-day quarantine prior to even sitting down with us, everything of that nature, make sure they had no signs. From there, we'd begin the process. But it's been a lot more ensuring temperature checks, everything of that nature prior to, as well as the process for them going down to boot camp, prior to them even starting the training, they actually spend 14 days at a hotel, get tested, everything of that nature. Once they're considered 100% good, they would roll over to Paris Island and begin the training.
Okay. You want to add to that?
Pretty much covered all.
But so let me ask you though, during this time, did enrollment stop? Or because you're working in Clifton here, so did the enrollment stop, or people were still enrolling?
Well, it did take a pause because we needed to get our guidelines, our left and right lateral limits, and seeing exactly what we need to do to get these individuals to recruit training.
Okay.
The biggest thing at the end of the day, defense of our nation's, top priority. The second to ensuring the safety of every person.
Sure, well, it's paramount.
So,
we can't let our guard down because of a virus. And which brings me to another question. You both gentlemen are located here at the recruiting office now in Clifton, right? So now is that like your temporary job, recruitment?
Yeah, so we have 3-year duties to be recruiters.
Oh.
So that's pretty much what our role is here.
Right.
So
it's like a special duty assignment. So when you've spent enough time in the real Marine Corps kind of wants to get you try something outside of your MOS and your specialty to it's kind of like a give back tour, if you will.
Okay. So if we're talking to the general public here, and all ages are watching, and you obviously probably career Marines, I would assume, or will be. What kind of advice would you give to a young person that's really kind of floundering around in life? Would this be something good for them?
Yeah. What I say is look at this as an opportunity to get a trade, whether it be something in my field, aviation technician, or other trades such as culinary artist. You want to touch on a few?
Honestly, my thing to individuals that are even remotely thinking about this is start the process as soon as possible, or at least reach out, to recruiters, see if you even qualify. Because
because you're here in Clifton, how are you encouraging people to come in? How do you solicit new candidates? Let's just put it that way.
I would say reach out to us by phone, set up a virtual or in person, and then go from there. But mostly we've been doing virtual to ensure the safety and everything.
And under a normal environment, would you go into the high school and give talks or lectures or recruitments for that? I think you probably would, right?
100%.
Yeah.
We do a lot of different talks. We sometimes, in the past, have taught history classes on let's say we're studying Fallujah or something that happened during early 2000s. That might be a thing that gets brought up.
Right. I think the purpose of this show is to encourage people. The military is very big, and like you said, there's a lot of great opportunities for guys. They just need to come in and probably talk to you and see what they can get, especially now, paid education, travel, all things that you see on the commercials. So if anyone out there is really interested, has any children or son or daughter that wants to join the Marines, we have a recruiting office right here on Van Houten Avenue in Clifton. So by all means, these gentlemen should be here for a while, and just stop down and see them. It'll be good. I'd like to thank you both for coming on. Thank you for your service to our country. We can't thank you enough. We're here because of you. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. Thank you.
Hello, Clifton and friends. Welcome to the updates. I'm so happy I'm back here. I'm Sharon Corbanix, and I'm happy to report there are some updates happening in Clifton. Of course, check your local neighborhoods. There may be some things that are happening beforehand, but an upcoming event is Lambert Castle. They are going to have their virtual holiday boutique. They will still have plenty of vendors, different items, homemade items, so please check out Lambert Castle's website. So it will be in November 6th through December 4th, and they will have more updates for you in October. So please visit Lambert Castle website so you'll get some details, but definitely turn on your computers and buy a bunch of homemade goodies, and I think you'll have a great holiday season. So with that, hopefully we'll see you around town anyway, but be safe. We have our masks on, we practice social distancing, and hopefully we'll see you soon. So thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. We miss you.
Okay, welcome back. Again, we have another Clifton alumni graduate who's done some incredible things in his life. I'd like to introduce Mr. Met. Many of us know him, Jay Horwitz. Jay, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Very kind of you.
Actually, Jay gave me an autographed copy of the book, which I appreciate.
Probably can't read what I wrote, right?
No, I read it. It took a while.
Good, yeah.
I had it transcribed. It's great, though. I started reading it, and, you know, because we're both Clifton people.
Yes, sir.
And you know, you grew up in Clifton. I'm sure you have a lot of fond memories of Clifton. I don't want to, I guess, I don't know what year you graduated, whether you want to tell us.
No, sure. I graduated Clifton. I was the first graduating class in the new high school, 1963. I went to Christopher Columbus, school number 1. And my favorite teacher at Clifton High School was Pete LeRae.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he told me I should be a woodworker.
And I read a lot of the book.
Right.
And you were involved in sports, obviously. Well, you just had the uniform on, and I don't know.
I wasn't, and when I was in high school, I wasn't a good athlete. All my friends were on the football team, guys like Tom Brady and Jim Schneider and Bruno Dibiak, and I became a manager. I was a manager of the baseball team, basketball, cross country, and track. My senior year at the Letterman's Day, I had 9 stripes on my Letterman sweater. I had more stripes than the starting quarterback did. I remember when the cheerleader said, "Who the hell is that guy?"
So it's apropos.
Yeah.
So obviously, we know what you've done. How did you get into this career? I mean, you were or are retired vice president, alumni media relations for the Mets.
How did I get to the Mets?
Yeah.
I had accepted a job at NBC TV. And about a month before I was supposed to start, a guy called. He said he wanted me to interview for the Mets job. I thought it was a hoax. I hung up on the guy. Make a long story short, I went down to St. Petersburg. I got the job. They wanted kind of an offbeat PR guy. When I was at Fairleigh Dickinson, I did stuff. We had a one-arm fencer, a 43-year-old football player, a 47-year-old priest who played hockey. They wanted an offbeat PR guy. I fit the bill. So they hired me apropos April 1st, 1980, and 40 plus years, I'm still here.
What was your starting position with the Mets? It wasn't obviously.
Head of media relations. I got promoted about 2000 to VP of media relations. And the last 2 years, I've been director of alumni relations for the Mets.
Oh, great. I mean, obviously, you've met a lot of people. And I have to ask, out of all the people, what's your fondest memory of someone you've met?
Well,
it doesn't have to be a Met, but.
Well, there's 2 things. You know, the 86 World Championship was a great thing. We were down by 2 runs, 2 strikes, 2 outs at the bottom of the 10th inning. We rallied to win. But for me, the fondest memories of what the team did on 9/11. The whole organization, we really helped the city heal, from Bobby Valentine to the players. We made a lot of trips down to Ground Zero. We visited the police and the firemen down there. We gave a lot of souvenirs and, you know, the home run. And we were the first sporting event after 9/11. And that was the game that Mike Piazza had a game-winning home run, you know, against the Braves. But that's probably my 2 most memories. Probably number 1 was what we did to 9/11. I think we really helped the city heal and did a lot of good things.
Yeah, and that's important. I know sports is kind of on hold right now. You know, fortunately, you've had great years where the Mets have been out there. And you know, people from Clifton are kind of like Met fans. There's a lot of Yankee fans, but you know, the Mets are kind of like when I grew up, that was the team that you wanted to see.
Right, we're kind of like the workman's team. You know, Yankees have won 27 World Championships. We won just a few short of that. Yeah. And I think the whole, you know, we're waiting for the Mets to get back and to winning things. I think we got a good chance this year, and hopefully things will work out.
Well, actually, the past few years, it looked promising for a while there at the beginning of the season. Everybody was excited. Yeah,
we ended the year last year. I think we were 18 games over 500 last 60 games. So we have a good young nucleus. Like a lot of teams, we've been hurt by injuries, but I think, you know, we're right in the middle of the mix right now for the pennant, and hopefully, you know, we got about 35 games left, and hopefully things will work out.
In your opinion, who's probably the most famous Met player?
Well, it's Tom Seaver, without a doubt. You know, the franchise with 3 Cy Youngs in the Hall of Fame. But I was fortunate to work with a lot of great players, you know, Dwight Gooden, Gary Carter, Keith Hernandez, you know, Mookie Wilson, you know, a lot of good guys. That's one of the things about my new job. I get to work with the alumni. You know, last year, the 1969 championship team celebrated its 50th anniversary, and working with people like Ed Kranepool and Jerry Koosman. So everybody always asks me who's my favorite guy, and it's really hard to say.
Yeah, because you've been through all the great years.
Yeah, you know, and I really can't. Right now, I'm working with a lot of guys who I worked with before, and I've been fortunate, to contact with Daryl and Dwight, and I still keep in contact with most of the guys, but I really can't pick out one guy who's my favorite guy.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to say.
There's a lot of good guys.
But in your position, obviously you were on the road a lot, right?
Right.
Because I don't think you were home a lot.
No.
Did that ever get to you after a while?
A lot of times. Well, I can remember one time we were in Phoenix playing Arizona. I didn't have the right key, and I went down to the desk lady, and I was a jerk. I said, "You gave me the wrong key. How could you do that?" I went back about 3 times, and I showed her my key. It was a key for a hotel in San Francisco, the city before. So I apologized and said, "Yeah, you wake up, you have these trips. You get there 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Got to do your notes and get ready." So, the road was not as easy as people think. There's a lot of sleepless nights and hamburgers at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you don't have a perfect diet
late night pizzas,
there.
Yeah.
But it's good. I guess there's some fun in it, though.
I like that. It's one of the things that I missed about my old job. The travel, the camaraderie in the locker room, getting to see different cities. I'd like to go to Chicago for the pizza, San Francisco for the seafood. Dodgers have great hot dogs and Dodger dogs. But I'm really like my new job. We're trying to bring a lot of the old alumni who are maybe falling away from the Mets, bring them back to the family. Guys like Cleon Jones and Butch Husky, Jay Payton, to name a few guys.
I mean, hopefully the year's better. Just really quickly, because I'm not really following because of the thing in Clifton here in the COVID, but what's going on with the sports in the stadiums?
Well, right now there's no teams have fans. We have like in City Field we have like about 10,000 cardboards that fill up the stands, like season ticket holders and fans. It's really like a pretty good look. If you look at the games, it looks like real people, but they just don't talk. It's a cardboard.
Right.
But it's probably through this year there's not going to be interference. Hopefully, knock on wood, we get back playing next year. We'll have fans in the stands. But we pipe in music and we do a lot of sound effects, keep the scoreboard running.
Yeah, so they're playing just.
Yeah, I mean, it's just no fans.
Yeah,
I mean,
so obviously the revenue is.
Yeah,
the owners aren't happy.
And our announcers, they don't travel. Gary, Keith, Ronnie, Harry Rose, they do all the games from City Field. They stay there, and they don't do any traveling. So it's different. But you know what? You get to watch it on TV and something exciting, and hopefully next year it'll be better.
Yeah, well, we're hoping. Jay presented me with this book, and I started reading it instantly. It's very good. If anybody has the opportunity to get this book, especially if you're from Clifton, because he has a lot of memories in here, and a lot of us could relate to, because we've grown up here too, and it's just really good. It's good reading. I think I probably read half of it the first night I got it. So if you ever have the opportunity to get this, it'd be great. Jay, I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, George.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
In all the years you were associated with the Mets,
Right.
who was the best manager?
Boy, that's tough to say. A lot of good ones.
Casey Stengel?
I'm not that old.
I remember him.
No, Joe Torre, Terry Collins, Bobby Valentine.
Okay.
Like Willie Randolph, just a lot of good guys.
It's hard to pick
I
one.
work with 13 different managers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
So I don't like to pick one out.
No, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But if you have the opportunity to get this book, read it. Jay, please, thanks for coming out.
Thanks, I appreciate
Jay's a
it.
very approachable man, so if you see him in Clifton, I'm sure, say hello. He's very, very pleasant, very nice man to talk to.
I have book signings at my house.
He has book signings at his house.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you where that is.
Yep.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate
My pleasure, Ray. Thanks for having me.
Thank
man.
you.
Thank you.
This whole world doesn't get me down, and people are just in touch only you, baby. And I'm way up to the top of the stairs, and all my hair's just dripped out into space.
Okay, well, that's our show for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. We've learned a lot of information. We got to meet a few people that graduated Clifton High School. Maybe some of these gentlemen graduated with you. So they're great interviews, and hopefully we get more people. Actually, if anybody has anyone out there that graduated Clifton High School or from Clifton that has had unique lives, please contact us. We'll be more than happy to put them on the show. But in the meantime, be good to your friends and family, respect your neighbors, keep Clifton close to your heart. This is a great city. Thank you, God bless, and good night.